So today we are talking about polygamy. All right. Um, is polygamy something that you ever considered? Your man trying to talk you into polygamy. Um, I think this is an interesting topic. I think it's an interesting topic. So there's different types of polygamous relationships, right? You got your polygyny, which is one man and multiple wives. You have your polyandry, which is, I think that's what it's called, where it's one woman and multiple husbands. And then you have polyamory, I believe that's what it's called, which is multiple everything, multiple boyfriends and girlfriends. Everybody just do their thing. Just be open and honest with each other, basically, right? So my thing is this. So I am kind of curious about the polygyny thing. If I was to consider any of these alternative relationship lifestyles, it would be polygyny. And of course, many people will say, yeah, of course, because you're a man. It's not really that per se. But that is a big reason why I'm not so, for lack of better words, pressed about doing it. You know what I'm saying? I have conversations with people, or I see conversations taking place amongst people, primarily on social media. And the reasoning and the logic that I'm seeing behind people hopping into these relationships aren't matching my reasoning and my conceptions of it. You feel what I'm saying? Even like with the polygyny thing, which is, like I said, that's what I'm interested in. That's one man, multiple women. When I have conversations with women about this subject, the majority of the time, not always, but the majority of the time, it's either A, they're bisexual. So in that case, it makes sense, but that's not necessarily, not 100% against that, but that's not necessarily my angle with dealing with it. And then a lot of women just, to me, it kind of seems like they telling me what I want to hear, or they're telling a man what they think they would want to hear about that subject. So it's like it's not genuine, because I'm like, yo, that's not even why I would want to participate in it. It's like, for me, it's deeper than that. You feel what I'm saying? So then that makes me wonder, because a lot of people who participate in this shit, they get the stigmas like the women just have low self-esteem, or they just nasty and greedy and all of that. Sometimes I'm like, damn, I wonder, is there a lot of truth to that? Because when I had these conversations, it seemed like we don't be on the same page. You feel what I'm saying? So for me, while I would deal with polygyny, if I were to, I like to look at things from a very simple scientific standpoint first, for the foundation of my opinion, and then I will think about it from other schools of thought as I formulate my opinion. So thinking of it as simple as possible, at the end of the day, when a man and a woman have sex, dopamine is produced in the man, oxytocin is produced in the woman. Dopamine is the hormone that acknowledges pleasure. It's not necessarily pleasure itself, but it acknowledges that pleasure is taking place. And then it basically tells you to remember everything you did up until that point, so we can get some of this pleasure again, especially if we need it fast, right? That's what dopamine does. It's not necessarily tied to a specific thing or person. It's just the action within itself. This is how addictive behaviors happen. Whether drug addiction, food addiction, certain chemicals in food such as MSG that actually manipulate your brain into telling you that you're having a more pleasurable experience than you're actually having. So dopamine can then be produced, and then you'll be inclined to go back and get some more of that food, like Chinese food and Doritos and things like that. So that's dopamine, which is basically wiring the man to just want more sex. Not necessarily, don't matter who is with, just sex in general. With the woman and the oxytocin, they call it the love hormone. It's the bonding hormone. So as the woman has sex and oxytocin is being produced, she's building a bond for that man that she's having sex with. The man's not necessarily always bonded to the woman, but more often than not, the woman's going to be more bound to the man. I don't think I have to go into too deep into that. We see that in everyday life. Okay? We also see men looking for sex more than women. If you look at the studies, cheating, at least from what's reported, because we know women could be sneaky, but from what's reported, men cheat more than women. Like 70% more likely to cheat than women, or something like that. I forget the exact numbers. So So there's that aspect of it, right? And then there's the aspect of just us as black people. Um, if you're keeping it a buck, what makes a man attractive is his resources, and what makes a woman attractive is her looks. More specifically, her body. This is what we're gonna notice first in a woman. It's not exclusive to that. It's not like it's all it takes, and it's not like that's necessary. It's just a common starting point of attraction. When we see a woman, we're gonna notice her body first. And when women see a man, it's going to be either his resources or something that could signify that he's able to get resources. And if not that, then at least something that she could be protected. That's why chicks be loving tough guys. All right? So we consider that, right? So when we talk about polygyny, and we're talking about men having resources and black people leading in poverty, which is mainly the responsibility of the black man in the black race. Even when you consider, first of all, black women, or women period, just outnumber men. Black women especially outnumber black men, just in general. This is before I add in these other factors. Then you add in the amount of us that's killed by the thousands every year. The amount of us that's killed by the thousands, that's incarcerated by the thousands every year. The amount of men who are participating in homosexuality, who basically just choose not to love black women in that way, to protect and provide for her in that way, which is probably by the thousands. Or even changing their gender altogether, becoming a black woman. Then those who are left suffer from poverty. Right? They suffer from poverty. So it's a small population of men who are heterosexual. Oh, you also have the group of black men who exclusively date outside of their race. I forgot about them. So you got to take that away. All right? So it's a smaller population of men who are willing and able. More so a small population that's able especially, let alone willing. Okay? And then you gotta consider the fact that of those black men, though, black men actually on a race by race basis, judging by like time spent and money spent and things like that, especially relative to what they have, relative to the time and money that they have, and time is especially important. Black men actually make the best fathers. They've done studies on this, and it's not like it's a study conducted by the Nation of Islam or something. It's a study conducted by primarily white people, the government that had no incentive to make black people look good. Okay, and they concluded that, just by these metrics, black men actually make the best fathers, contrary to popular belief, because the belief is we're actually the most deadbeat. Okay, we make the best fathers. Those of us who do that, right? So it's a whole bunch of black women left unaccounted for, just mathematically speaking. And a lot of these black women are naturally, as it should be, are going to want a black man. That's just natural. Okay? It's a small population who's going to exclusively want to date outside of a race or just consider outside of the race. But they're going to want to deal with black men. But mathematically, there's not enough men available. And we also know this. A father not in the home is very detrimental. That's when black people really fell off as far as unity is concerned. When the government came up with ways to incentivize a black woman to keep the black man out the home, such as child support and things like that, we were destabilized. We know a boy to grow up without a father has a more difficult time becoming a man and treating a woman properly and just doing manly things as a man should be, because he ain't had no guidance. He had to figure it out on his own. With girls who grew up without a father, they say tend to have relationship issues, because they say they have daddy issues and things like that. So we should understand that having a father in the home is very important, especially in our community. I mean, this happens for all people, but especially in our community, because this is where the problem is. The biggest at in the black community. So I'm like, with practicing polygyny, I feel that would help with all of that, because the only men that's left is the men that's handling their business. They're going to be the ones that's willing and able, who know how to get the resources, who are obviously attracted to the women because they consider them in the first place, and they're great fathers. All the black children are going to have great fathers because of the polygyny. It's not like a woman has to settle for some nigga just because the other men are taken. What's a popular thing you always hear? Oh, the good ones, they always taken. The good men's always taken. The good men's always taken. Good ones always taken. Good ones always taken. All kind of black women out here who can't find good dates. Why? Because the good ones is always taken. Right? So why not set it up in a way? Because another way I like to come with my opinions, I like to think of what if everybody did it? Well, if everybody did it, if everybody black did it, the niggas who wasn't up to task would die off. Like, even their genes would die off. Their genetic expression didn't offset to have them adjust to do what they need to do to make sure that they were attractive enough to get a woman, let alone more than one. You feel what I'm saying? So this leads to capable black men raising up young boys to be good men, both in the DNA and just teaching them, period. And it kind of by default, at least in theory, all this is in theory, should strengthen relationships from woman to woman, to see, so they don't have to see each other as competition necessarily all the time. But or it could make it worse. I don't know, because it could be competing for the man. I don't know. This is like a thought experiment. Like I said, I'm just curious about this. So don't take this as me saying this is the prescription for black people. We gotta do this. I'm not saying that, but a lot of niggas do that, right? And you know what's crazy? Remember, the only men who are going to be participating in this polygynous way, at least in theory, the way I have it in my mind, are niggas who are capable. Niggas who know how to get it, niggas who know how to protect, and niggas who actually love women, black women especially, okay? The main niggas that you see talking about it all the time are niggas who don't know how to get it, who don't know how to protect themselves. Like, they don't even have one girlfriend. They don't even have one, let alone have more than one. So that's just interesting to me, because I'm like, you're going to make it harder for yourself. It's a lot of niggas already out here saying how chicks only want this type of dude. They only want that. They don't want to deal with a nice guy. Nobody wants a nice guy. And you want to advocate for this? You're going to make it even harder on yourself, sir. Because we already unofficially practice polygyny anyway. That's a common argument you'll hear for pro-polygynists, is we do it already anyway. We might as well make it structured and organized, which it's an idea. It's an idea. So, like I say, there's a population of black women that's going to be unaccounted for who want to be in a relationship with a black man. This is a way to increase fathers being in the home. Okay? And then just increase better households. Just imagine the type of information that's being propagated in those homes of a man who knew how to accomplish everything that he accomplished. You feel what I'm saying? So that's just my thoughts on it. Yeah, because like I say, I always see the reasonings be different from what the vision I have about it. So anyway, yeah, let me know what y'all think about it in the comments. Share it, because I do think it can potentially be a good idea, just for the reasons I brought out, and I'm open to, like I said, tell me what y'all think. But also a big reason why I'm reluctant to really be like pressed about it like that is just the climate of society. I feel like that lifestyle, it will be less acceptable than like homosexuality is right now, things like that. Because I be thinking like, so if I had more than one wife, how would their family receive that? Because I even talked to some of my family members before, and they was even like, nah, I don't know about that. We can't even be invited over for picnics and shit. So that is a big thing. So because of that, I think that's why I'm kind of starting to put the conversation out there a little bit, just to get people to see different sides of it. You feel what I'm saying? Maybe build a tolerance for it. Maybe so they can see like, okay, it's not just about pimping and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's not how I see it. If I were to participate in it, if I were to really push it tough like that, this is just pretty much a thought experiment where I'm at with it. So yeah, freedom over failure, and I'll check y'all on the next one.